Hi, good morning, Cage here. I just wanted to make a video on how to do a restring on an acoustic guitar. I know there's going to be a lot of you with brand new guitars for Christmas, so this will be kind of a beginner's guide to doing your first restring on an acoustic guitar. What I have here is a Martin X series. I do have this guitar tuned really low with some really thick strings on it, and so I'll be swapping back to standard tuning. And if we have to make a truss rod adjustment, I'll show you all how to do it as well in this video. All right, so the first thing you're gonna need to do, set your guitar somewhere nice and solid. I do recommend buying a neck rest at no matter what level of guitar playing you're at. You're going to need a peg winder of some sort. This is the Diodario string cutter peg winder. I like this one a lot. And then I would recommend having at least a small pair of these wire cutters on hand. I find they're the best thing for these bridge pens. So first thing is first, we're gonna go ahead and remove these old strings. And these strings are not very bad. They're not very old at all. I'm just switching this guitar back to a standard tuning because I was doing some experimenting in low tunings. So what I'm going to do is take all the strings off at once. I'll be able to clean the guitar really quick, give it a wipe down. While you're restringing the guitar, make note of which way you're turning the tuning post to loosen the string, because you're going to go the opposite way when you want to tighten the string. And one thing that you want to make sure of is that the string actually goes from the inside of the post around to the outside, not from the outside in. And I'll show you more on that as we wind the string. All right, the strings are pretty slacking, so we'll just go ahead and pull these. And this is what I like the pliers for. There's a little notch at the bottom of these. Just pull it out. It should not take too much pressure. Oops. So these things are plastic. You can get wood ones, ivory ones. It does make a little bit of a tonal difference if you replace these with maybe a bone or wood. But you're gonna break them, you're gonna lose them. It's no big deal if you break them or lose them. You just have to go purchase new ones. I do try to keep them in the order that I remove them. If they get out of order, it's not the end of the world. So your strings will just pull right out of the hole once you remove the bridge pins. And then from there, go ahead and finish removing them from the posts. Be mindful not to cut yourself. We'll just throw these old strings out. So now is the perfect time to clean your brand new guitar. Make sure everything is snugged up with that go through my tuning pegs. Just make sure that you're snug. Take that little brush and dust the guitar. And I won't be cleaning this guitar this time because I'll be playing it here in a little bit, so I was just wanted to have it ready. All right. So now that we have the old strings off, I'm going to go ahead and put the new strings on. These are just some D'Addario Phosphor Bronze, some classics. And what I usually do is I go ahead and just put all the strings in place right away. And these ones are color coded. Brass will be your lowest string. The 6th string. Red will be your 5th. Black is going to be your 4th string. Green your 3rd. Purple will be your 5th string, I'm sorry, your 2nd string, and then silver is going to be your 1st string. And what I'm doing here is I put a little bit of upward pressure on the string so that the ball here doesn't get caught under this, creating excess string that'll pull through. You know, you'll have it like this, and then all of a sudden you have twice the string. So the way that I prevent that is I just put the ball end right there, and I go ahead and push it down, hold it in place. Put all of our strings over here. All right, this is usually where I see the beginners have their most trouble. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put that 6th string into the tuning machine. And to measure the length of the string, this is my method. Is I run the string through all the way, and then I back it back out until I have an excess amount of string that comes up to this 2nd knuckle here on my finger. So we've got about 3 inches of excess string, if you can see that there. So we're coming to that 2nd knuckle with the excess string. I find that gives me an exact amount of wraps, usually 2 to 3 wraps. And what you're gonna do is take that string from the post, bring it to the inside, wrap it under your main part of the string here, and then after you do that, you'll take that excess string here and just kink it on over. And remember, the direction that you want to tune is the direction that makes the string wind around the pole piece from the inside and over. And for these tuning machines, for the orientation on the bass side, the direction is going to be away from me, so counterclockwise. That's going to give me about 2 wraps. We're just going to go to, you know, just a little bit of a guesstimation on the pitch. I will trim that string as close as I can to the post, and then we will do the same with the next string. So we're going to go take all the slack away, grab that string with our right hand, and create the excess that we'll need up to our 2nd knuckle here. And then we'll take this part of the string, which is the excess now, in. And it's going to go under the main string, and then kink back over, tune away from yourself counterclockwise. We'll keep trimming those strings right away. And this is preference. If you want to trim them all after you put the strings on, that's perfectly fine. I just do it as I go to make sure I don't scratch instruments, and I try to do my own instruments how I would do customers, so I don't develop bad habits doing my own. And so we'll just go through the rest of these somewhat quick. And then for a headstock like this that has 3 and 3, the bass side is going to tune one way, and the treble side is going to tune the other way. And that's just to maintain that the string continues to wrap around from the inside of the post to the outside. So we'll take this G string here, and the higher strings, sometimes I will leave a little excess since they're a little thinner. And so this time, we're gonna take that string back to the inside of the headstock, but going the opposite way as the previous. And we're gonna bring that excess back under the string here, kink it over, and you notice that if you try to tune the tuning machine the same way as you did the bass side, it's going to try to wrap the string around from the outside and then back over. And you do not want that because you want your angle to stay straight from the nut. So we're actually going to tune towards ourselves for this string. And these ones can be a little tricky, so just take your time. Your first restrings will not be as smooth or as quick as these, so I recommend getting a couple of packs of strings right off the bat. And I'm just going to bring that up to just enough tension to give it a little pitch. Finish these last 2 strings up. Same thing, you're going to go to the inside of the headstock under the main string and then kink it over. And that provides a little bit of locking stability. Keep the string from slipping out of the post. And right now we're not tuning up to pitch yet. We got that final string in place. Again, same process. We want to do this little string lock. It's going to make your strings look really nice on the posts. That. And that is what your strings should look like after a restring. About 2 to 3 wraps per string. All right, so the final few steps of the restring process are going to be to stretch the strings and to tune the instrument. So we'll go ahead and take our tuner here, put that on the headstock, and then to stretch the strings, you're going to go ahead and with your fingers like this, you put your thumb here on the outside and your index finger on the inside, same shape for both strings, and just a little bit of pressure up and down the string. And then what I do is I actually tune the guitar once I'm at this step. So it can flex as the tension gets redistributed. And this is not very much pressure on each string. We're going to go through and do each of them up the length of the string. Just a little bit more. what stretching the string does is if there's any excess string left behind the bridge pin here, it's going to pull that back out so the string will seat in place for tuning, as well as cinch up the twists around the posts here so that they're closer together, and it tightens them up so there won't be as much string slippage, ensuring a better tuning stability. Then we'll go back through with each string tuning the previous strings. And the reason you go through retuning each string is as you put tension on the strings, it redistributes the tension on the neck. And as that tension is getting redistributed, it's going to put the other strings out of tune. So to make sure you're distributing that tension correctly and allowing yourself to have the most opportunity for stable tuning, you just want to make sure that you're checking the tuning of each string as you proceed tuning the guitar. And so we're all the way at the G string now. We'll stretch this out. These higher strings are not going to take as much stretching. But as you can see, as I tune that G string, it put the rest of the strings out of tune. So that's why it's important to just keep retuning the entire guitar as you move along. This one, the neck is pretty good. The truss rod is just about where I would want it for an acoustic guitar. And then you'll have to repeat that tuning process just a couple of times after the initial restring. Beautiful. And there we have it. That is the beginner's guide to restringing a steel string acoustic guitar. It's a pretty simple process. Just take your time and know that mistakes will happen at first. So get yourself a couple of packs of strings to practice with. And until the next one, enjoy your guitar rockin'.